Alright guys, this is episode 5 of BlazBlue Alter Memory, the quote-unquote beach episode. I have no freaking idea why an anime already rushing and strapped for time as it is, decides to have just a jokey moment for a beach event that really didn't happen in the games, but of course every anime has to have a quote-unquote beach episode, but god damn it, Alter Memory. Like, whatever, you know, let's just move on. This is for my thoughts at the end, so let's just get on to the episode already. So the episode begins with a cameo by Valkenheim. He begins pouring Rachel tea as they discuss about Terumi and Arcana Heart for a little bit. I find it funny that we're 5 episodes in and there has yet to be an explanation of why the time loops were happening a few episodes ago. Like from the beginning, you know, everyone was knowing how time was looping, but there has yet to be an actual explanation yet. And it's bugging the hell out of me, and I know for a fact that the explanation happened, and no one said anything, and I better move on before I keep yelling, and Above the skies, Tager is directly over Kabetsuchi, with Kokonoe airdropping him down in order to find Noelle Vermilion, due to her being the successor to the Azure. Kokonoe complains at the heads of Sector 7 on how they want to handle the Ragna and Noelle situation, as well as stamp out both Ars Magus and the NOL, but they're all just talk. Kokonoe continues to say that they're wasting their time on trying to change the world through science and trying to seize the Azure Grimoire, but they should be doing is focusing on the Eye, or Noelle and Vermilion in this case. Kokonoe tells Tager that they're going to catch Noelle first and forget about Ragna and the Azure Grimoire, since the Azure Grimoire is the weakest of them all due to it having a big blind spot. Back at the Kaka village, Lychee asks Noelle how she feels being around Ragna despite him being the NOL's biggest target, though Noelle says she doesn't know, but she wants to ask him more questions. Tao decides to take the gang to a super hot springs in order to heal Ragna faster, with Rachel teleporting them there. And this is where the obligatory beach episode happens, and etc, so... Back at the Alucard mansion, Valkenheim has deduced that both Ragna's and Noelle's Azures start to react to one another, and says that it is all going to Rachel's plan. Meanwhile, Ragna and Noelle are traveling through a forest with heavy seether and are attacked by dark creatures. Without his sword, Ragna says that they're out of options, but Noelle jumps ahead of him, summoning her Bulwark, and again reusing the best animation in the entire show for the 3rd time, and attacks the monsters. Taking the sights of the guns, Ragna flies into a rage and tells Noelle if she even knows what those guns are. Noelle's face and the fact that the Bulwark is a Noxnic Taurus makes Ragna believe that Noelle is a prime field device just like Nu, and he tells Noelle to never look at him with that face ever again, dividing the land between the two, and walks away from the confused Noelle. Rachel then flashes back to when she first met Ragna as a kid, bleeding out on the ground. She asked if Ragna wanted to live and drops to the floor underneath him, later giving him the Azure Grimoire, which formed from a black aura into his new arm, as well as giving him his red eye and white hair from the trauma. Though the anime makes it seem like the white hair is a result of Ragna fusing with the Azure, but whatever. Back at the present, Rachel wishes for Ragna to take everyone into the unknown. Traveling through an industrial area, Ragna notices a hungry child on the ground, giving up the same vibes of when he first met Tao. Though reluctant, he took the child to a restaurant where they first introduced themselves as Senna. Ragna quickly noticed that there was another soul within Senna, who he referred to as Luna. Luna came out and called Ragna a pedophile, angering the man, but he caught sight of the bell on Luna/Senna, calling it a Noxnic Taurus. Luna later fell to the table as an ethereal woman with blonde hair who arose from the body of Luna and Senna, who said that while she was alive, her name was Trinity Glassfield, which Ragna knew as Trinity was the name of one of the 6 heroes. Trinity warns Ragna to not fight Yuki Terumi under any circumstances, with Ragnar saying that first he can take him, but upon seeing how serious Trinity is, begins to doubt himself. Meanwhile, Tager is overlooking Ragnar and informs Kokonoe that he's been spotted, even though Kokonoe has no need for him at the moment. Instead, she decides to do a quote-unquote test drive, sending down a girl to Ragnar's location who looks extremely similar to Nu, ending the episode. So, I already mentioned at the beginning of this episode that this anime is already rushing stuff, right? From the very beginning, from literally the first episode of Alter Memory, everything has to been rushed. And, obviously, as I said before, some things are out of place. Like, there are some Calamity Trigger parts stuck to Continuum Shift parts, because Calamity Trigger only had 2 episodes to establish itself, technically 2.5, because you want to count the 3rd episode, which is half Calamity Trigger shit. And this is what bothers me, right? They had the time to do this quote-unquote beach episode. Now, granted, the stuff was funny, but there was no reason to even bother with it. You guys had 6 minutes to goof around in a hot springs, and yet you're already desperately trying to cobble together this mess of an anime to try to make it seem coherent enough. Because Calamity Trigger and Continuum Shift are long games, and the fact that you're not even going, like, I'm not asking to go through every single character moment or whatever, because I think that's just, unrealistic expectations, even if, I was talking about something else. But, like, this is just, I don't even know why they decided to do such a thing. Like they mentioned they've mentioned the hot springs in the games, right? They just never actually, did anything major with it. So it's like, oh, well, I might as well take advantage to screw around with fan service. I don't mind fan service, but I feel like you guys are already strapped for time, right? You are already strapped for time. There was no reason for this. They're already trying to rush shit together, and yet they had 6 minutes to goof around with this crap. I mentioned before, man, there's not enough breathing room for these characters to act like themselves. You know what? And then what's worse about it is that this anime, like the hot spring scene is the one I've been asking for. Characters getting some kind of breathing room, talking amongst each other, just being normal without having the anime just to rush through the bullet points of their characters. And this whole beach segment, this whole hot spring segment is just like a blessing and a curse at the same time. Like, I don't hate it, but at the same time, I'm like, you guys wasted 6 minutes on it. So, like, what's the rest of the episode? Well, the rest of the episode begins, it just talks about how Falcon Hines talk about, it's mostly just, more, well, I mean, I'm not gonna say nothing has happened, but most of the episode seems just kind of because you get, so this is the episode that introduces Falcon High. He just stands there and talks about Rachel, him and Rachel are scheming, which, they were doing that, they always do that, so I'm not gonna make anything a big deal out of it. They're always talking and shit. And then, you got Tager, talking to Noelle. Tager talking to Kokonoe. Why did I say Noelle? They're talking about how to deal with Noelle. And they're still talking, because that's what they do. They're trying to set up Vince for next episode. See, this is the thing about this Alter Memory. They're setting up for one big, massive ending. Not as of now they are, but... And then, you're just more talking, and then, there's the event where Ragnar sees Noxing Taurus, and I don't understand, I know he's talking about how, it's weird, because we already established before, right, that, Nu looks like Ragnar's sister, and Noelle looks like Ragnar's sister, but in this anime, they don't explain how things came to this point, Ragnar notices that Noelle's wielding the Bulwark, of all things, right? The Bulwark, and then he deduces oh shit, she must be a freaking prime field. Which, how would Ragnar know? There's no explanation to why she would even be a prime field in the first place, because there's no explanation for that. He just sees Nu. It's never mentioned, how Ragnar would believe that. All we know is that when Terumi took her away, Saya's apparently gone, and then Nu somehow came around, and then Noelle came around. There's no explanation, what the hell happened, but I feel like we're going to get that Terumi's speech at the very end of the series, but as of now, it's just weird, because now you have no explanation of why Ragnar would think Noelle's a prime field. Because if she was running around with the goddamn Murakumo, different story, right? But she was directly wielding the Bulwark, and then Ragnar seemingly deduces, like, oh shit, it's a Nox, like a straight up Nox, so she must be a Prime Field, because she looks like my sister, and wielding a Nox at the same time. Like, I swear, it's just so weird, like, you know, it's so weird. Like, there are some weird decisions, and then this is, like, obviously Trinity's introduction to the series, right? And then, again, she's like Carl, she means nothing to this anime at all, which I'm not expecting anything major, but like that, like Luna and Sin are just here for Trinity to talk to Ragna, and then they just dip, and you're never seeing them again. Like, this is it. And I find it weird that right, that all this shit is happening in the first place. Like, all this is like happening way too fast. Funny enough, I even mentioned Platinum's name the entire time. I kept calling Luna and Senna, and I have yet to actually call them Platinum. I just felt like it wasn't safe to call them Platinum this time. But anyway, I just don't know, man. Like, it's so weird. But I think that might be the end of this episode. Like, I got nothing. Oh, no. One thing. I find it weird that the bell on Platinum's, like, you know, the bell Platinum wears is the Revuare, because they in the armor Revuare Muchorin. Sorry, it's hard to say that name. The Muchorin is like, they wrap it up around them. They usually keep it in cloth, and you know, they can't really do much, but they keep it in cloth. But like, in this version, the bell is actually the Nox. So I kind of find it odd, but I mean, it'd be a cool decision to see where it goes, but like, that makes no sense. Why the bell is the Nox? But whatever, I'm out here. I'm done. This has been 6 minutes. I gotta stop this episode. Okay, this is not really an after credits thing, but this is a thing I just wanted to talk about at the end of the episode. Like, at the end of this episode, my bad. There's a scene, right, where Rachel is with Ragnar, right? And it's so weird that she looks older than she normally looks. Like, it's weird. It's like how she's drawn in this scene. And it's bothering the hell out of me. She looks like Raquel if you look at her close enough, but like, that her neck is a little too long and her face is a little, like, Rachel doesn't have like a rounded face, but her face looks more like older, kind of like, I can't say sculpted. That sounds weird, but it looks a lot more mature in this one scene than like than every other scene she appears in. It's so weird. Like, she's like a completely different character. Like, she looks like Raquel a little bit, but whatever. Let's just get out of here before I'm just like, I get stuck here. But like, I swear to God, she looks so weird here. I don't know if it's just me, but she looks older in this scene, and it's like, I already know Rachel's super old, but like, she looks older than she normally looks. You know, Rachel looks, you know, somewhat young in her, you know, regular self. I don't know if it's just like the lack of her not having her dress on, but like, it's not even just that. It's just how she's drawn the scene. It's bothering the hell out of me. Oh my God.